first up, this carrier. It's literally, I think, $25 and it works so well. Diaper changing station. You might notice they're in a bow shape and that is exactly what they were used for. This is just like so good. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing super duper well. First of all, can anybody spot the difference between this video and the past few videos? We are baby free and I have a lot of mixed feelings about that. But baby girl is napping in her bassinet. Bassinet naps have become more regular now, which is crazy. I'm like half so proud of her. And I remember the early days and early weeks where I was hoping and wishing that one day she would take some bassinet naps. And now that they're here, I don't want to wish them away, but it's just a physical like marker of how big she's getting and how much progress she's making. It's just crazy. The Christmas decorations are still indeed up. It is January when I am filming this, but one thing at a time. We have a bassinet nap. The Christmas decorations will be completed some other time. I've been wanting to film this video for a little bit now that baby girl at this point is 11 weeks tomorrow. 11 weeks tomorrow. So I feel like at this point I have a good handle on what we use every single day in the 4th trimester newborn stage. And I was gonna wait to do my makeup, make a whole sit down video about it, but if we waited to do that now that Jack and I are both back at work, this video would never come out. And I also figured that vlog style might be actually easier because I can physically show you the products and like where they are in the house, and I'll remember the products because of where they are. Like we have stations in our apartment. Make sure to subscribe before you leave, and without further ado, let's get to those stations. So first of all, portable diaper caddy. We use this thing so much more in the earlier stages for when we were doing diaper changes out here in the living room in the middle of the night. We would probably do like 2 or 3 of those. And so this was stocked with a changing mat and diapers, but now it's more so stocked with just the things that we grab when we're in the living room. But right now, this is what it looks like. This whole section is full of different passies. Literally, name a brand, it's in here, as well as a backstock in the nursery. Unfortunately, the reason why we have so many different brands and so many passies is because baby girl is not a passy girl, and I wasn't willing to give up until I tried probably at least 10 to 15 different passies, but with no avail. She's just not a passy girly. But occasionally we do still try, so that's where that is. Also in here, we have a couple high contrast things that are easy to grab. We've got a rattle from her Lovevery Playkit, and then we also have this fold out textured booklet that we got off of Amazon, and she loves that thing. There's specifically a picture of a penguin that she loves, and that's her favorite one. And then we've got the health section. In here we have her nail file that we use all the time. We have gas drops. We're on our 2nd vial of this, and it helped us a lot in the early days. I would say we use it a little bit less as her digestive system has developed, but a lifesaver. We have a stain remover. This stuff, it's crazy good. It's like the best stain remover that I have found, and with the milk and spit up and just like random stains that happen, we grab this whenever that happens and we just throw it in the wash and the stain is out like every single time. Then we have a good old fashioned, we call this the spit sucker because we have a booger sucker that's in the nursery, so I'll show you that. But we've got the booger sucker, but that doesn't mean that we don't need a good old fashioned bulb sucker for the extra spit or like spit up that she has in her mouth, because that other one is good for the nose, but this one is just better to get into the mouth. So that's all that's in this station. Also in the living room, we have the bouncer. The one that we have, and we got a sage color. It's the Baby Bjorn bouncer. It's just this jersey cotton material. And at first, she did not like it. At first, she didn't like being placed anywhere that wasn't on us or in our arms, which was definitely an interesting challenge. But I would say literally just within the past 1 to 1.5 weeks is when we realized that we could put her down in it. And she was straight chilling. She could either watch us just for a little bit. It's not for a long time. She does get sick of it pretty quickly, I would say within like 10 to 15 minutes, but that's probably when it's time to put her down for a nap anyway, so she's just over everything. But it's great to just put her down if we have to put on clothes, or if we have to, I don't know, eat something. Or we'll put her in it and show her that little high contrast book as part of her awake window and awake time. And so we've been really liking that, and that's kind of a recent like. But a lot of this, honestly, when it comes to the containers, like a bouncer or a swing, it really does depend on your baby. So I'd say I'm happy that we have this bouncer because it's something that we kind of kept trying at and she did like eventually. But I'd say just pick and choose a couple container items, whether it's like a Snuggle Me or a bouncer or something like that. You don't have to buy like every single thing right off the bat because she just might not like it. But luckily, she ended up liking this one. The other thing in the living room that we use literally, 7 to 8 times a day, the boppy. And with that, there's the boppy cover, and then underneath this boppy cover is a protectant layer that I got as well. I think you guys literally gifted everything to do with my boppy, and I'm so grateful because it's almost like I can't feed her without it. I don't know how moms hold their babies and breastfeed. It just seems so hard for me, and I just got so used to laying her across the boppy and feeding her that way. And so if we're out and about and I suspect we might need to feed her, I literally bring this boppy with us in the car just in case. At first I thought the protectant layer that we have underneath this was not needed, but when she started spitting up a little bit more, it would obviously get on the boppy, and the pillow itself hasn't been affected by that. We haven't had to wash that because of the protectant layer underneath. So I would say that's a must, or something that I've just really appreciated. But yes, boppy, 10 out of 10 recommend. A couple things that are located right now in the office area. First up, this carrier. It looks complicated. I promise it's not. And if I'm saying that, then you know it really isn't, because I can't be bothered with complicated things. They overwhelm me. But this is the Baby Bjorn Harmony carrier. And if I haven't said this, I will be linking every single thing down below. But right now we have 2 carriers. One you guys may have seen me use in the much earlier weeks. It was the Ergo Baby Embrace. And I still really like that, and I still would really recommend it. But once she started getting a little bit heavier, a little bit bigger, that one, and you can probably tell just by the material, it's just not as supportive. And if you have a Velcro baby and you find yourself needing to wear her to get her to sleep or to get anything done, we wear her specifically a lot in the office setting because we both have standing desk situations. And so if we can put her on us and she falls asleep, we can both get something done. But anyway, in the early weeks, the Embrace carrier was perfect, and it was so comfortable, and it was just my go-to to just get stuff done while she was napping. But when she got a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, this has so much support. The back support alone is really great, and these heavy-duty cushiony straps are also really great. Highly recommend. We use it every single day. Because she is a Velcro baby, and because we're using the carriers way more often than we even thought that we would, my parents also got us the Wild Bird carrier for Christmas, and it's back ordered until sometime in January actually. So I've heard a ton of great things about that Wild Bird carrier, and so once we get it and test it out, I'll keep you guys updated on our thoughts on that one. Also hanging out in the office because it's getting a charge right now is our baby monitor, and now that she is doing her bassinet naps, which again, just so many mixed feelings about that. We use this thing every single day and we love it so much. At the end of the day, we went with more of an old school monitor that doesn't connect to the Wi-Fi, so it has this antenna to have the signal to the monitor and everything. She's just absolutely killing the game. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of her. I could literally watch her sleep all day long. But it's perfect. It gets the job done. It's highly rated. The reviews are so good, and I can just add to those positive reviews. If you're looking for a non-Wi-Fi monitor, we are so happy with this. The charge is pretty dang good, and it's also easy to just put on the charge if you need it. The image quality is really clear, so my favorite thing to do while she's napping is check that she's breathing literally every 10 minutes, and I can literally see her belly moving up and down. The image is that good. And there's also a couple zoom options and different sensitivities sensitivity levels for when it will alert you if she's fussing or crying, depending on your baby, how loud they get, etc. Lots of good things to say about that monitor. While I'm in here, this is where our swing lives, and I have mixed reviews about it, but not because I think the swing is bad. I feel like you either have a swing baby or not a swing baby, almost like you have a pacifier baby or not a pacifier baby. And at first, she hated this thing. Again, she would not take anything besides our arms or occasionally the bassinet when we would go to sleep. And at first she was not a fan of this thing at all. We got this in a desperate need once Jack went back to work, and I was going back to work about a week later, and she was still Velcro status. Could not put her down. She was napping only in carriers, which is adorable, but when you have a job to get back to in order to provide for the house and, you know, live and like put groceries and food on the table, we needed to find ways that she would nap so we could actually get things done in the day. It's just the reality of the situation. So I bought this thinking that this would be the solution to all of those problems, and at first she absolutely hated it, but so many moms loved it so much and it was their solution. So we tried it a few more times and she ended up liking it a couple of times for sure, but by the time she was tolerating it or even seeming to like it, it was also coinciding with her bassinet naps, so it just wasn't necessary. So that's why it's sort of mixed. I don't have anything bad to say about the swing in general, so if you're wanting to try a swing, I actually really love it. But for us, the timing was just a little bit off and we didn't end up using it as often as I thought that we would. Moving into the kitchen, there are a couple things in here that I see. One is this manual breast pump. It's literally, I think, $25 and it works so well. I'm personally not pumping a ton right now. I'm exclusively breastfeeding and there's just not a need currently for me to work pumping into my schedule, but in times of need, or if I just had a little extra that I wanted to get out or I wanted to practice with it to potentially get a mini supply if that's something I want in the future, this is great. I haven't broken out my electric pump, but somebody I follow on Instagram, Kat Pond, recommended this because she said this is like the only pump that she ended up using at a certain point because it was just so good and efficient, and I totally agree. It's very affordable. It takes about, I would say, 5 minutes on each side before I'm finished using it in a session, and pretty easy to clean as well, so really like this. The other thing I have over here are my Ritual vitamins. I did the prenatal ones pretty much all throughout my pregnancy, and then these are the postnatal ones. Am I super on top of it getting them in every day? No, but when I see them, I do try to remember to take them. I know I've partnered with them before. This is not sponsored in any way, but I've continued to use them. I've continued to purchase them. I love that I know exactly what is in them and where the ingredients have come from. But as a non-pill taker, these are easy to get down. They have 2 flavors to also help get them down. They're not chalky. There's a bunch of different reasons why I like them, but Ritual for my vitamin needs. If I do end up pumping, I wanted to show what I use for that. I'll usually gather milk from a couple of sessions, and I believe it's the CDC website that has the guidelines on how to safely combine milk, so make sure to reference that if you are using that method. But when I do that, I end up putting the milk just within this glass bottle, and this is Dr. Brown's, so it doesn't really matter what you put it in, but I'm just showing you that I put it in here because it has the ounces, so when I go to store it, I can properly label the bags. And speaking of bags, I love the ones that I got. We got the I literally don't know how to say it, Lancino breast milk bags, and on the top here, you put all of that information if you want. And then I learned this trick on TikTok actually. So you pour it in, and then to make sure you're getting like all the air out, or just to aid in getting the air out, you put it against counter edge and kind of push the air out, and the milk kind of like gets to the top. You seal it off, and then you have milk ready to store that doesn't have a ton of air in it. Coming over to the freezer, a lot of this actually has to do with feeding and or pumping, so that worked out nicely. Anyway, I got these ice and heat packs from that same brand, Lancino, and I love this type because it's got these little beads and they're just a lot easier and like flexible, and you might notice they're in a boob shape, and that is exactly what they're used for. And they also come with this cover thing, which is really convenient if you don't want to place it directly on your skin. But these have come in clutch. I definitely earlier on had a couple of clogged ducts that I had to work through, and so between ice, light massage, and Tylenol, I was able to work through them really effectively. So actually, whenever we go up to my parents' house, this is always in the packed bag because I never want to be without this. Not a ton of natural light in the bedroom, but that reminds me, it's because of this janky situation. My landlord installed blackout curtains or blackout blinds in the nursery, but for our bedroom, she didn't make them blackout because it is nice to have light coming in, but we are sleeping with her in our room right now, and we found that these blinds just let in a good amount of light, as you can see, and in the nighttime there are lights outside that stream in basically. So this is our solution right now. But we have temporary blackout curtains coming from Amazon, so I'll leave those linked down below because that's exactly the solution we're looking for. They'll basically hang above the window and just be that added extra layer, and we can remove them when she transitions into her own room that already has blackout curtains. Another thing in here that I wanted to show you is sound machine. It can be any sound machine. This is just a simple sound machine that I used before she was here, and now we use it while she's here. And there's also a sound machine in her room that I'll show you once we get in there. But sound machine, just sound machine. Sound machine, sound machine, sound machine. I think the last thing that's in here to show you guys are these nursing bras. These are the only things that I've been wearing for the past 11 weeks. They're from Target. They come in a 2-pack. I have white, off-white, pink, black. You can choose your colors. But these with nursing pads that I'll make sure to leave linked down below is all I've been wearing. But because the neckline is plunging, once I got comfortable with just the rhythm of postpartum and motherhood in general, I just sleep with a bralette with no nursing pads, just giving myself a break, and that's super comfortable to me. But sometimes I still sleep in these. They are really comfortable and really stretchy. That's why I like them. They're not like super structured if that's something that you're looking for. But I've also considered buying a pack that I know is on Amazon, and it comes with like 6 of them just so I have more on hand because I am constantly washing them. I'm intruding on playmat time. Look at you! While Jack is doing playmat time, I'm going to rapid fire around her nursery to show you guys the products that we've been using in this section of the house. First, the playmat. I would say this is an absolute necessity as far as developmental time goes. What would you say, Bubby?
Man, child, and child not included.
The one that we have specifically is Lovevery. There are so many playmats out there though, but this is just like so good. We have the playmat situation as well as her first play kit, and we couple those together, and the play kit comes with a lot of high contrast cards, violin portfolio thing.
Oh, portfolio?
Portfolio? Accordion? Accordion. It comes with like an accordion to put all the cards and stuff, and like the colors are just so good. Highly recommend we use that every single day, and we do tummy time on it as well. Diaper changing station. She loves this. It is fully wipeable. It's not the Kikaru peanut. It's slightly more affordable than that, but it's still a wipeable surface. And whenever we put her on this thing, she just becomes the chattiest Kathy ever, and she loves it. We love doing FaceTime and stuff on it too. This has also been a lifesaver. This is a weighted wipes dispenser. So we just take all of the wipes outside of the package and put it underneath this weight here, and it just makes grabbing wipes 1,000 times easier rather than like wrestling with that package. Okay, all things sleep related. It might look silly because her bassinet is literally in the same like room as her crib, but we haven't made that transition yet, and so during the daytime, if we want to do like daytime bassinet naps, again, these ones, these curtain things are much more blackout than the ones in our room. We have been loving the pop-up like bassinet that I talked about during my pregnancy. We use it every single day at first for all of the nighttime sleep, and then we have been utilizing it so much more now that she tolerates bassinet naps a lot better. Inside, you'll see her little sleep sack swaddle situation. She just recently graduated to the next size up in her Halo sleep sack. That's what this thing is. We got the newborn size and then just the next size up. What is that? A 3 to 6 month size. And it's so sad, but she loves the Halo swaddle. We started using it literally in the hospital when we just could not figure out how to swaddle tightly enough with just a regular blanket. But basically this inside thing zips up. Her little arms poke through here and her feet are like nice and cozy warm in this layer. And then this portion tucks her arms in, and this has Velcro. So it just makes it a lot easier to swaddle. And then you can also use this to transition out of the swaddle by leaving one arm out and then both arms out gradually over a few nights. And that arms out situation makes it a lot easier to go to a sleep sack, which is very exciting. Here's the camera to our monitor that I mentioned. Then coming over here to a bunch of other sleep situations. We thought that we were going to use the Baby Merlin's Magic sleep suit. That's what this thing is. But by the time it was clear that she needed to start transitioning out of a swaddle, which is when you would typically use this was still too big for her. It probably would be just the right size literally within the next week when she turns 3 months. But we wanted to start transitioning her out of the swaddle just based off of what we were seeing. And again, she just didn't quite fit this. So it was like that weird in between, but it is what we would have used. We used it, I think, for one nap, and she actually ended up liking it, but it was clear it was just a slight bit too big. But this is a great transition piece, so I will leave it linked down below for those that are looking to easily transition out of a swaddle. And then this is the other type of swaddle that she ended up liking. We would use this just to swaddle her to calm her down during any crying fits, witching hour, etc., because it's not quite warm enough for sleeping, but it definitely got the job done as far as making her feel nice and secure. And it's really simple to use. You basically tuck her into here. This is a Velcro piece right here. It's just kind of folded over, and you basically take this piece, attach it here, and you're putting her arms inside it as you're doing this, and then this piece folds over, and this whole section is Velcro. So you can go like that, and she really enjoyed that swaddle as well. Again, it's just not as warm or heavy duty for sleep time, so we kind of just used this for everything but sleep time. And then over here we have a heating pad, and I would say this is a top tip that we ended up using when we were just trying to get her to be comfortable in her bassinet at all from the very beginning. We use the heating pad to this day to lightly heat up her mattress before setting her in there. We of course take it out before we put her in there. She's not sleeping on top of a heating pad. But what we were finding is she would go to sleep really soundly and cuddly and warm when we were rocking her to sleep, and then when we were going to transition her to the bassinet, she would wake up probably 5 minutes later, if not right away. And we realized that we are all cuddly and warm and our body heat is being exchanged between her, and so putting her somewhere that isn't warm to sleep was probably disturbing her, and that was the trick, honestly. Between that and laying her down on her side, like feet first to her head, that was a weird trick, but we saw it on Instagram and that ended up working too. So we use the heating pad to this day to make that transition from us to the bassinet a lot easier. And then next to the heating pad, you'll see our hatch machine. We haven't utilized probably like 85% of the functions that this thing has. We know you can make routines on it and like all of that stuff, and she's still just 2 months old at this point. So once we transition her into her nursery, we'll probably look into like how to do all of that stuff, but we love the lullabies and stuff that this has. It has really cool like womb sounds, and then during Christmas it had some like Christmassy sounds, and when we're in the thick of it during witching hour or a fussy period, Jack and I will sit in this, which is my next product that I'll mention. This rocker is so comfortable. My mom got this for us for one of our baby showers, and it has saved our back so many times. Instead of like walking around with her and rocking her and bouncing her, when we are just physically exhausted and not able to do that anymore, we come in here, we sit our butts down in the most comfortable chair, and this thing rocks so smoothly. And between that and the sounds on this machine and the non-sleep swaddle, we just rock her straight to sleep. It calms her down. The sounds are so soothing, and the rocking motion is exactly what she needs, and she ends up going to sleep right on us. That is the magic combination, those things. When I was exiting the nursery yesterday, I realized I forgot to mention the Ubi, and that is something that we use every single day. I know a lot of people compare the Ubi with the Diaper Genie, and although we haven't personally used the Diaper Genie, we are super happy with our Ubi. We know that with the Diaper Genie, you can't use your trash bags, like your own trash bags. You have to use Diaper Genies, or at least it's harder to use your own trash bags with the Diaper Genie, whereas you can definitely use your own trash bags with the Ubi. So I can imagine that we're saving a lot of money there if we don't have to buy the name brand bags, you know? We also do not notice any stench coming from the Ubi as long as we do remember to close that lid after we are done. And when I was walking by the bathroom, I wasn't sure if I should name all of my postpartum supplies here, but I did mention those in another video. But in case you are curious, I will leave my Amazon storefront, which has a postpartum section, linked down below as well. But otherwise, I'll try to find all of the individual products and link those down below so that they're super easy to find. If you guys have absolutely any questions whatsoever about any of the products that I mentioned, feel free to comment down below. Make sure to also comment down below any items that you guys didn't see in this video that were absolute staples for you in those early weeks, or just in the newborn phase in general, for anybody that's stumbling across this video and wants to read the comments of other people's favorites. But anyways, my friends, that is going to be it for today's vlog. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did and you haven't hit the subscribe button, make sure to do so down below. My Instagram is also linked down below in case you want to follow me on there for more real-time updates. I love you all so much, and I will catch you in the next one, my friends. I'll see you later. Bye.